Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for Facebook Live. I also like to take time out for those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. I am the voice for those who suffer in silence. Guys, it is indeed a pleasure and a blessing to be here with you tonight. As tonight, we're talking about the bully. We're still in our Suicide Awareness Month, the month of September, and we're just bringing light to what um, potentially is one of the most terrifying, traumatic events that we could ever be associated with. It has wreaked havoc on our families. It has wreaked havoc in our schools. It has wreaked havoc in our communities, guys. So it is a conversation that must be had. It is a conversation that we must give a voice to, for so many still to this day suffer in silence. As we know, if you've seen the post, that over 120 each day died by suicide. And so tonight I want to look at the statistics, the statistics as they relate to the bully. I wanted to know, what role does the bully play when we talk about, or when we mention about suicide? We know that there is some kind of connection. It's not the only connection, but it is a relevant enough connection that we need to have the conversation, guys. So nonetheless, let me do a little bit of housekeeping here for a moment. Give you time to get in here, to contact your friends and family. Let them know to get here on this live tonight, especially if they have kids that are in the schools. Let's get here and let's have a conversation tonight as it relates to the bully. Still talking about Suicide Awareness Month. This is the month of September. This is also my birthday month. And so as a gift to you, I have lowered the price on all of my paperback books. So all of my paperback books now can be found on Amazon for as low as $5. So go to Amazon, get those books, do the work, and let's be better together. Okay, guys? Also, my website, if you have not had an opportunity to visit my website, there on my website you'll find some courses that I have available for you, especially if you are one who is in owns a small business and maybe you're looking at transitioning your business to the online arena or going virtual, whatever that looks like for you. Go to my website, look at the courses that I have available there for you, and get something that is helpful to you, but also share that information with your friends, family as well. Also, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, the YouTube channel houses all the lives that we do here. So that information is good for you. It's there in the link. And last but not least, don't forget our online store, Babes Tees. There's inspirational tees there that once you make that purchase, the proceeds from those purchases benefit the education programs that we offer through my nonprofit CWF organization. Nonetheless, guys, let's get ready to get started. If you're here with me tonight, go ahead and like and share this video. Also, shout out. Let me know that you're here. Leave your comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know that you are here with me tonight. So we're talking about the bully tonight. We're talking about suicide awareness. We're still addressing that. I want to know, what role does the bully play in suicide? I know that bully has some connection with reasons or motive for someone to die by suicide. I want to know what your take is. I want to know what you think the role of bullying plays as it relates to suicide. Now, we know that just from listening at our kids, and if some of you are like me, you are educators, you know just from being inside our schools that bullying behaviors seem more like the norm now than anything else. Not only do we have kids bullying kids, we also have kids bullying teachers, we have teachers bullying kids, and it just seems like we have become so desensitized to what bullying is and the impact that bullying has on emotional wellness. And I don't know, I can sit here and I can give any number of reasons why I feel like this is so. But more than not, I believe that the content in which we consume entertainment, or what we consider to be entertainment, whether that's through television, whether it's through these challenges, these games, and things like that that they come up with, I believe that it is the root of the behaviors that we have become so desensitized to. Not only that, we carry a little device like this. And when our children are at school, this little thing right here goes everywhere with the child. That's into the classroom, that's into the restroom, that's out on the playground. This gives them access to the whole wide world. So this has so much power that it becomes a distraction. So in a place to where we say like the schoolhouse, in the school where we're supposed to go to learn and to be educated and to feel safe, we're distracted by that little device right there. So let's look at it, guys. What happens when we take this little thing right here into the classroom? Well, we take it into the classroom. We got a student bullying teacher. Teacher reacts. That little device right there, it's broadcasted. It's misunderstood. They only show you half of what they want you to see. You have half a story. Everybody's forming an opinion. Now, there we go. What happens when we take this little thing right here into the restroom? You have little boy or little girl in a restroom stall thinking that she's in there or he's in there in a private nature. Some kids are in there, they're holding the this here little thing under the stall, or they're holding it over the stall. Little boy, little girl in there masturbating, and it goes viral. Another scenario, in the restroom. Well, let's take it outside. We're outside on our lunch, recess. They got that little thing right there. Little girl, little boy, they want to pick on the other little girl, little boy. The video goes up. Not only that, it's streaming live through social media platforms. So it looks like one little girl being picked on, one little boy being picked on. They pick a fight. They get beat up. They're exposed. They're bullied. They made fun of. Whatever. That plays a major role on emotional wellness. We never know, or we never consider, when we're being so rude and when we're being so condescending and when we're trying to make a name or a platform for ourselves, we never consider what the other person is going through. So you know what kids do? Kids laugh and make fun of each other. They're made fun of. They can't go down the hallway. They can't go to the restroom. They can't go outside. They can't go in the cafeteria and be at peace without some little small group making a spectacle or a target out of them. And we know how these issues are magnified in our minds. So being that it's only this small group, being that we've been exposed or our privacy has been violated, it seems like this whole wide world is now looking and laughing at us. It seems like this whole wide world is criticizing or condemning us. So what do we do? And what role does that play in suicide? Because yes, I'm just giving you some drastic or extreme cases, but you guys know, like I know, we are not nice to one another. Kids can be cruel to one another. Just a little nagging words. Just a little looks and a little smirks like they know something or like they're against us or like we're not good enough plays a major role in how we perceive ourselves. So not only that, do we have outside people and things looking and laughing at us and making us feel bad. Now we ourselves have become a bully to ourselves. Because now everything that we've heard throughout the day, everything that we know that has transpired and someone has blasted us on social media or has videotaped us in our privacy, now we become our own worst enemy. Because everything that we've heard or everything that has been said or everything that we feel begins to play over and over and over and over in our minds. And so there is no escape. There is no escape from the pain. There is no escape from the embarrassment. There is no escape from being picked on or being targeted. Because everywhere our kids go, everywhere the teacher goes, or everywhere we turn to where we should feel safe, we don't. And forbid if we go home and we live with a bully in the home, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a family member, a cousin, a religious leader, a community leader, another trusted adult, another trusted friend. So the trauma continues to magnify itself in our minds. It's hard for us, some of us adults, to cope with being in such an environment. Imagine what it is for a child. And guys, what I'm seeing is that kids as young as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not only are they bullying, they're being bullied, and they also are dying by suicide. So is this a conversation we need to have? You betcha. It is a conversation that is necessary. And what do we do to stop it? What do we do to stop it? First of all, we have to be aware of the behaviors that we're exhibiting. And that's a lot of times because our environment, our world is desensitizing us so much to the effects of these behaviors that oftentimes we're displaying these behaviors and we don't even realize it. Me as an educator, that is one of the things that I should make a priority, is not only making sure that my space is safe and protected, but also my students safe and protected from me, safe and protected from each other, safe and protected from other adults in the facility. But if I'm not aware, or if I have my own agenda, then the cycle continues. And that's one thing that, we have to stop and look at right now. Are we doing our absolute best to minimize these behaviors? And are we so tuned in? Are we so sensitive? Are we so aware to these behaviors that we're watching when the behaviors of our students change? And not only us educators, we can look at it from a parental side. Are we so tuned in? Are we so aware? Are we so connected to our kids when they get home that we're tuned in and listening? Not only with our ears, but with our eyes to the behaviors and the changes that are being displayed in our homes. Because our kids, our babies, sometimes don't have words for what they feel and what they go through. So we have to be tuned into their emotional state. We have to be tuned into their behaviors. We have to be tuned into their social activities and their social connections. We have to be tuned into their eating habits. All of that plays a role in making sure that our babies are okay, even when they say that they are. Because a lot of times they don't want us to worry. Many a times they don't have the words and they don't know how to share with us what they've been through. I sit here and I think, I can think back several years ago when I was in high school and coming up through going to college and things like that. And I can kind of sit and think and sit in that moment of what those experiences look like. But I don't think it had any bearing on what the kids today deal with. Kids today can be so cruel. And you can sit here and you can say, yeah, they are. But guys, you don't have to look far beyond your living room to see a kid that is so cruel. Your sweet little baby boy, your sweet little baby girl that we just adorn and lift up and keep on a pedestal and they can't do no wrong. Are we sure? Are we sure? Remember when I told you, and I've told you time and time again, how hurting people hurt people? If your little baby boy and your little baby girl have been bullied, 9 times out of 10, they've returned the favor. And 9 times out of 10, they didn't return it on the bully. They found someone else who seemed weaker. They found someone else that, they could project their pain on. Not only that, but they projecting it back on themselves. So what role does bullying play as it relates to the statistics that relate to suicide? Did you know that a child that has been bullied is 9 times more likely to die by suicide? 9 times more. As if it was not traumatic enough that we lose just one. 9 times more likely to die by suicide. That means not surviving. That means completing the act. So it has to stop somewhere, guys. We have to break this cycle. We must. What does bullying look like? Bullying is verbal. And I know many of us, we were from that old school, and you know, mother and them, mama and them, they told us, you know, words don't hurt. Words don't hurt. You know, it don't matter what people say about you, but it does. Because it's those words that are so magnified in our minds that we repeat over and over and over and over and over and over in our mind, even after the bully is gone. So it is traumatic. It is a traumatic experience. Not only that, they bully, cyberbullying. They got their little cliques and these little apps and things like that. And one little thing that I do, even me as a educator, I'm not exempt. I'm not exempt. I might have did something, trip and fail or something, and they make a meme out of it and play it over and over and over again. Does not our educators have feelings too? They don't want to be put out as a spectacle. They're human. But you'll let your little boy and your sweet little girl go in the classroom and use all kind of verbal language. Use all kind of physical behaviors. Act any kind of way, and we turn a blind eye to it until there's a reaction. I just have to call it like it is, guys. Where does it stop? What about the educators who are against one another? One educator against another educator, and they in their little cliques. It doesn't change just because we're adults and we're aging. It doesn't change just because she fits in that group and he doesn't. And we're adults. And we're snickling behind each other's back, talking about one another. Or talking about what's going on in her house or his house and they kids and my kids. It does not change. The cycle continues. And we're just talking about the school. We hadn't got into our religious organizations and our communities. Same thing. Where does it end? And some of us are so wrapped up in our own filth and our own nastiness, our own attitudes, that we have become so desensitized to what our words and what our actions do to one another that how would you feel knowing that you had an opportunity to intervene from another child or another adult taking their own life, dying by suicide, and you did absolutely nothing? Or that you joined in? Or that you just said, well, it wasn't my business, so I wasn't going to get involved? And that's the way so many of us are. Or on the parent side, we're so consumed by our own lust and by our own fleshly deeds and by our own habits that we neglect to see our child suffering. We neglect to hear the cry. Not only that, words from our mouth added on top of the other stuff that they've been exposed to or have experienced throughout the day, that it's just a straw. Guys, where does it end? And what role does bullying play in the statistics as it relates to suicide? A child, a person, an educator, an adult, a parent, a community leader, whatever, experiencing bullying is 9 times more likely to die by suicide. Take a minute to think about that. Then think about your actions. Think about your plan. Think about your words. Think about what you can do differently to change the dynamics of that statistic. I don't even have to go anymore. That statistic alone is an eye-opener. Talk to your kids about suicide. Talk to your kids about the effects that bullying has as it relates to the statistics of suicide. Talk to your child about what's going on in their schools. Talk to your child about what's going on in the house. Talk to your child about what's going on in the community. It's necessary. And if you are an educator, I challenge you to be more in tune, be more sensitive, be more concerned about the emotional well-being of your students. School is supposed to be a safe place, not only for them, but for us. And all we have to do is come together to make sure that happens by creating a plan and enforcing that plan so that we're all safe. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. It has been indeed a pleasure to sit here and talk to you tonight about suicide awareness as it relates to the bully. And I know that I'm guilty. I know that I've been there on both sides of the spectrum. But today, accept my challenge to be more aware, and let's make an impact to where we reduce the risk of anyone else dying by suicide. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Good night, everybody.